With me is Akere Sylvester Obumese. Sir, why do you want to be President of Federal Republic of Nigeria come 2023 general election?
Thank you very much. The challenges we face, the Nigerian situation and circumstances. There are so many things in the Nigerian question that will force even a layman in the street to begin to cry. Having regards to all these challenges that we face, for instance, the poor economic situation, the hunger in the land, the insecurity challenges, the underdevelopment in the land. If we compare ourselves with the first world nations, because we can only make a comparative analysis when it comes to development. If you compare yourself with another person, all of these are challenges. And from studies, it is observed that close to 90% of Nigerians are highly impoverished, live below the poverty line, under Human Development Index. Nigeria is among the poorest nations. Having regards to some of these things I have mentioned, it behoves on me to take up the challenge because one, only Nigerians can solve our problems. The problem of Africans can only be solved by Africans. We cannot wait on the West. We cannot wait on the Middle East, the Chinese. The Far East. Neither can we wait on the Middle East. We must be able to solve our problems ourselves. It is not as if our existing leaders or the previous leaders have not done their bit or they are not doing what they should do. But every person, we all have our own strategy. We all have our own initiative. And we are endowed differently. We have different drive. We have different vision, different focus. They have done their bits in the way they understand. But however, I put it to us that their best is not good enough. I may have to apologize for that. I said their best is not good enough because one, if you compare Nigeria with existing developing country, you will agree with me that their best is not good enough. But we still live in abject poverty. Many Nigerians cannot even provide food for themselves, they can't drop food on the table. So, with all these situations and circumstances, it behoves on me to pick up the challenge. And that is why I'm showing interest in the position of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But the issue is, how are these problems going to be managed? How are they going to be solved? First, among all, is this: there must be a constitutional review. The Constitution, which is the basic framework, governance is built on the Constitution. Good leadership is built on the Constitution. Why we have, to a certain extent, system failure is because of the existing Constitution. It does not provide or give allowance for better governance. It did not provide or give room for creativity. It did not provide or give room for scientific development and innovations. It only provides thus far for us to be subservient to other economies of the world. And that is why we need to review the Constitution and believe. And besides, there are so many ethnic interests. There are so many things in the existing Constitution that does not satisfy the contemporary time. And that informs my sending a proposal bill to review the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria to the National Assembly. The President of Federal Republic of Nigeria also has a copy of that, the proposal bill, and forwarded to National Assembly earlier in the year. The proposal bill, however, emphasized trying to look at so many gray areas, issues that can settle the economic crisis we are facing in this country. Because the basis of existence is one, sound economy. Before you can have sound economy, you must have sound technological base. We must be independent. Independent in the sense that our production, our way of life, our behavior, it must not be controlled by other existing economy. But as it is right now, our behavior, that is what I mean by our behavior, the commodities that are available. Let's say, for example, all the cars that are driven in Nigeria, clothing, even food, even architectural designs, name it, everything, they are all borrowed from the West. We are not putting up that initiative. It's not as if we don't have the brains in this country. Nigerians will leave this country, go to another country. They will leave Nigeria for the US. They will leave Nigeria for France. They will leave Nigeria for Great Britain. They excel there. They become best in the areas of science, in the areas of nuclear science, nuclear medicine, in the areas of aerodynamics, in the areas of automobile, in the areas of any forms of arms production. They are best. Then that is to say that there's something wrong with the leadership. There's something wrong with the organizational structure of this country. And the leadership cannot be wrong if there's not something wrong in the constitutional framework. That informs my forwarding a bill to look into that. And because of the constitutional framework, that is also why we're having serious security challenges. I am not blaming the existing government. At least I also belong to the existing party. It will be out of place for me to be blaming my party. I'm blaming the constitution. Where we have gotten it wrong is the constitution. We borrowed the former constitution, carried the former constitution, we rebranded it, and it's not helping our cause. This existing constitution has not also provided enough circumstances or better way to solve security challenges. Today now, Nigeria, we are faced with a whole lot of security challenges. For instance, it is difficult for one to move from one place to another. You drive your car from Benin to Lagos or from Benin to Abuja. By the time you leave one place for another, you get there safely. You thank your God. The series of kidnapping, several antisocial disorders, these insecurity challenges in the north, the Boko Haram. If you come to the south and to the east, you have different kinds of insecurity. The same thing is said about the West, insecurity challenges. And that is because there was no proper provision. If there were proper provision from the forefathers, from the pioneers of the Constitution, those that wrote the Constitution, we would not have had these insecurity challenges. That informed again my advocating for one regional government. But I want us to understand that regional government does not give us the opportunity to say we are succeeding. I cannot be an advocate of a divided Nigeria. I want a united Nigeria. If we have regional government, we have state police, we have local government police. We go to a reasonable extent, solve some of these security challenge. If what I'm saying is wrong, why is states and federal government, why are they giving their prayers into what community policy by providing what vigilante? If government sees that it is right for one to provide vigilante as community policy, why don't you just there should be a working document that will employ these people and train them as local police? You empower them, give them the necessary arsenals to combat crime. But that is not even the issue. Crime cannot even come into existence if we have a working economic situation. Because of we have a very bad economic circumstances in Nigeria. The economy has failed. If the economy has not failed, we will not be talking about people highly impoverished. Nigerians are, even those in government employment, how much are they paid compared to the United Nations regulation? We are grossly underpaid. And that is to say, even those in employment to some extent are impoverished. The best way to curb crime is also for government to provide for the citizens. Government will not be able to provide for citizens enough if there's poor economic situation. We need to improve the economy relatively. Everything on planet Earth is a viable economic good. I wrote that in my book, Molecular Economic Studies. The air, the sand, the rock, everything around us, the economic good, you can turn it into economic goods. Nigeria is blessed with natural or whatever resources. Nigeria is blessed with human resources. The ability to bring all of these things together for viable economic gains. That is where we have some problems. We turn these things into production so that we can have things for ourselves and we can also have things that we can market. Nigerians, we don't have anything we market to the outside world, but rather everything, virtually everything is imported. We cannot continue to depend solely on crude oil. We cannot continue. The best natural resource is your brain. It is not all these things that you are seeing. Whatever you are seeing on earth, the rock, the water body, the plants, the animals, yes, they are blessings. It is the brain that will turn them into economic goods and services. That is where we are getting it wrong. And that is where the issue of molecular economics comes in. We have been emphasizing on micro and microeconomics, a borrowed concept from the West. But right now, I am theorizing that we need to also emphasize the new concept, molecular economics. It's an advancement on micro and microeconomic studies. It is on that ground we'll be able to advance or settle our cause, the problem that we have as a surviving nation. The Nigerian question is something that bothers everybody. It bothers me. It bothers all Nigerians. And to that end, you begin to think, where do we go from here? We cannot continue to be suffering. Okay, look at our military. The military hardly produce reasonable ammunition. Everything is borrowed. They will have to import these ammunitions where we have everything within the country to go into production. All economic goods can be produced in Nigeria. So we need to encourage ourselves. Nobody's going to come from, we cannot be waiting on the West, waiting on the Far Easterners, the Chinese, the Koreans, We cannot be waiting on the Australians to solve the Nigerian problems, to answer the Nigerian question. So that is why I am taking that initiative to see why the Nigerian questions cannot be solved. The African question. The Nigerian question is the African question. It is pitiable to say that Africa is the most underdeveloped. You don't force respect, you earn it. Africans have not done enough for them to earn respect from the West. After all, everything about Africa is being driven by the West. Our method of administration, our science, we don't have any basic philosophy. The philosophy is talking about knowledge. Everything on earth is philosophy, science, art, or whatever. We don't have any concept of our own. We depend so much on what we are given. Whether it is right or wrong, we cannot even challenge it. You cannot give what you don't have. It's not as if Nigerians don't have the manpower, but the opportunity is not just there. The position of president should not be exclusive to those that have money alone. It should not be exclusive to the money bags. If the money bags, if they have the wisdom, the skills, the knowledge, the vision, if they are creative, fine. If they are not creative, they don't have the skill, the vision, or whatever, they should support those that are capable of rescue the Nigerian baby. I describe Nigeria as a baby because one, we're a surviving nation. Nigeria needs to be rescued. So the position must not be left in the hands of those that are strong in words. That is where we are getting it wrong. Because right now everybody's thinking, oh, this Mr. A that is this, Mr. B that is this. It must not also be those that have been there before, or those that have served in one big position or the other. If they have served and right now we are still where we are, must we continue to recycle them? I am an APC member and I'm going to advocate under the APC platform. I believe that time has come for Nigeria to get there. We must be creative. Creativity is a hallmark of development. Going into the unknown, producing those things that already exist that has methodologies, and also producing those things that have no methodology. The unknown has no methodology. Whether micro or microeconomic studies, they are all based on existing methodologies. Like I said, the macro, the MA or micro, the macro and micro, the one that concerns the state or national, the one that concerns firm or firm and companies. And their method of production, looking into labor relations or whatever things like that, as the case may be, are all based on existing methodology. You will have to use existing methodologies to get into unknown methodology. You create from existing to the ones that are unknown. It's only that we can. But we believe everything is only the West that has the answer. That's wrong. The West does not have the answer to everything. And to that end, that also informed the fact that now I am not criticizing, oh, many Nigerians that always have to begin to run across the Niger and get to the other side in the event of health challenge. The West, they have no